and welcome to VIBEZ Daily. This is a daily devotional curated by VIBEZ Church to help you practice the way of Jesus and be all that God has called you to be. You have joined us for our year-long series titled Devoted. Acts 2:42 tells us that the followers of Jesus were devoted to the apostles' teaching, to fellowship, to breaking of bread, and to prayer. This podcast was created to provide context and commentary for what you read each day. Just before our friends begin discussing today's reading, we want to invite you not only for fellowship, but for prayer as well. We have created the VIBE Daily Chat Group to offer you fellowship and a community where you can state your observations, ask questions about the reading or the podcast. You can join us by downloading the VIBEZ Church app in your favorite app store. Click Join the Conversation and join us today. And finally, we hope that you can join us for prayer. Prayer happens Monday through Friday, and more information on that can be found on the VIBEZ Church app under prayer. Now, let's begin our conversation on today's reading.
What up, y'all? My name is Dylan, man. We are so excited to start a new day of VIBEZ Daily podcast titled Devoted, where we are walking through the Bible cover to cover with my wife, my beautiful thing, my rib, Shameeka Allen.
Not the government.
The government.
And your other co-host, Jordan Emmanuel
Yes,
Allen.
Jordan Emmanuel Allen. What's up, boo? Hey. All right, so today we're going to be reading chapters 93 to 100 today. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started, boo.
Yeah, let's go.
What is the Lord saying to you in 93 or 94 or whatever?
That he's majestic.
Amen.
That he's mighty. Yeah, I love Psalm 93 because although it's a short psalm, only consisting of 5 verses, is mainly speaking of the Lord and who he is. That's all we pretty much get in it. So, like it said, that he's majestic, and it talks about his strength and how he established the world. But I also love verse 2. Your throne was established long ago. You are from all eternity. A good verse to let us know that God is a God who was here before the beginning of time, and that he was the one who established it. And so, yeah, that's what really stuck out to me in chapter 93, just being able to be reminded of who God is and where it all started.
Yeah, same as far as his throne. This is how much I know how human I am, is the concept that God created time. And because he created it, he's able to step out of time and look at time.
Yeah.
That alone is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
Because time, at least for us, is everything.
Yeah.
Like, eternity is everything. And he can step out of eternity and look at it and be like, all right, I'm going to shift some things or whatever the case may be.
Right.
It's crazy. This just shows how much he's Alpha and Omega.
Yeah, it really does.
I'll never understand it, and I don't think I'll ever will.
Yeah.
That's good. Anything else in 93 or you want to move on?
No, I'm good with 93, but 94 was a psalm that I really liked because it really talked about just those who are wicked and pretty much foolish. It gives this really good psalm that kind of pointed some things out that I thought was just really good. So it starts off with, in verse 1, the Lord is a God who avenges. Oh God, who avenges, shine forth. And so we will see and have seen already thus far that God is a God that is about justice. He really does not play when it comes to serving other gods. He's a jealous God, and he is, in a lot of times, because we do know he is also a God of grace and mercy, but he will has the ability to pay back what is owed to you. And so especially when it comes to wickedness, like, he hates it. He wants no parts of it. And I just love how verses 7 through 10 it says this. It says they say, speaking of those who are arrogant, the Lord does not see, the God of Jacob takes no notice. And then it says, take notice, you senseless ones among the people, you fools, when will you become wise? And I love how it says, does he who fashioned the ear not hear? Does he who formed the eye not see? Does he who disciplines nations not punish? Does he who teaches mankind lack knowledge? And I love that it just points out that, of course, the God that created these things has the ability to also see, hear, know. But we often see that it is those who are wicked, if you will, that are believing that what they're doing is not being seen by God, and that they won't get what they deserve. And so it does say, I just love that.
Yeah, I love that as well. I think wicked and fools are coexisting, right?
Yeah.
How foolish could you think that God doesn't see you? That definitely stood out to me too. I think about celebrities. I think about people who I've dealt with that will mock God.
Yeah.
Because they can't see him because of their limited vision of seeing God. They just assume that he doesn't see them. Or I even think of myself like, oh, this sin that I'm hiding, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm hiding it from those I love or those that would have a watchful eye on me, that means I'm in the clear. When I got Father, the Son, Holy Spirit, and my guardian angels literally looking at me like, look at this fool. You know what I'm saying?
Or the times that we're hesitant to go before God because we feel like what we've done is just so bad that he's not going to accept or someone to hear us. And again, that is kind of assuming that God doesn't already know. Like, he sees and he knows. So yeah.
I love, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I do love this turnaround though, that starts in verse 12 that talks about, who is blessed, like those who are blessed. And it does says, blessed is the one, here we go again, you discipline, Lord, the one you teach from your law. And it says you grant them relief from days of trouble. It even says that the Lord will not reject his people. He will never forsake his inheritance. And then judgment will again be founded on righteousness. And I love these promises of like, we're blessed whenever we do receive discipline in God. And yeah, how he's always there for us. He'll never leave us.
Yeah. I love verse 19 where it says, when doubt fills my mind, you comfort me. You give me renewed hope and cheer. Yeah. That's it right there.
Yes. I underlined that verse because my translation, the NIV, it specifically says, when anxiety was great within me, your consolation brought me joy. And I feel like it speaks to those of us who have or may struggle with anxiety, where I feel like this is a scripture that is encouraging to know that like God is a God that consoles you and that he can bring you joy. And he's the one that you should run to, not the other vices, not the other void fillers, but it's God. And to know that anxiety isn't something that is unknown to God, right? Like we have it in the scriptures where people have experienced it, yet they was able to find relief and comfort from the Lord. And so that encourages me in any season or any time where I'm experiencing anxiety, knowing that God is a God who can bring that anxiety and turn it into joy.
Here's a message to all those that suffer with anxiety or even experience anxiety attacks. The root of your anxiety is doubt. You have consumed your mind with all these variables that things won't work out.
Fear, yep.
That's all it is. And you've believed it, and you're adding another doubt on top of 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 another doubt. Or you just consumed with just this one doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Let go of it. Trust God. He will give you what you need. He will replace your doubt with hope and cheer.
That's good.
Philippians 4, verse 4 through 9. We're not there yet, though.
He's the
Anything else in 94? There's so many good things in 94, bro. Let's just move forward. 95.
Oh, wait. I did have something.
Okay, go ahead. You took too long.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. I had to read. I had to look.
Hurry up, man.
No, I do love verse 22, but the Lord has become my fortress and my God, the rock in whom I take refuge. And for me, that word become means that I have chosen to make him my fortress. That maybe something may have happened, or I have come to a place where I've decided that the Lord will be my fortress. And he is a God who is already that, where he is a stronghold. He is a refuge for those in need. But to know that, again, that application is in my heart. He has to become that. And once he become that, for me and for myself, everything changes.
Yep. I love mine. It says, my God is the mighty rock where I hide.
Come on.
It's good right there.
Come on, Patrick. Under the rock.
That's stupid.
I only said that because you love SpongeBob.
Yeah. I was like, Patrick, what in the...
Come on. Who knew he was in hiding?
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Jesus Christ. Yes.
Anywho, now we can go on to 95 since you wanted to go there.
95.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me. What's standing out to you in 95? Anything?
Yeah, there was some good things. I love this call of worship that 95 has a bunch of just really good, beautiful praises and thanksgivings to the Lord. But again, I pointed out this call of worship that was in this chapter, starting in verse 6. Come, let us bow down and worship. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker. For he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture, the flock under his care. Again, the analogy of being his sheep, and him being the shepherd. But I do love, even in this song, if you will, it continues on in verses 8 through 11 with the Lord speaking. Mm-hmm. The Lord saying, don't harden your hearts as you did in Meribah, as you did that day at Massa in the wilderness. So again, the history of the Israelites, he has seen them harden their heart. Yeah. As where your ancestors tested me. Mm-hmm. He said, they tried me, though they had seen what I did. For 40 years, I was angry with that generation. I said, they are people whose hearts go astray, and they have not known my way. So I declared an oath in my anger, and they shall never enter my rest. And so, although it starts off really beautiful, right, with this like praise and thanksgiving, you get to hear the Lord. And I feel like in that you can get a glimpse of just his anger towards those who they tested him and tried him, and despite what all he had done for them, they still didn't put their hope and trust in him. So yeah.
I love verse 3. Go back a little bit. For the Lord is great and a great king above all gods. My imagination, man. Like at that time, I think about all the Egyptian gods and the Greek gods and all that. I believe this is my theory. I mean, I feel like this is what it is, and I feel like some people probably with me on this one. I feel like all them Lord G gods are fallen angels, and they try to make it themselves. What's it called? Make a name for themselves, right? And if that's the truth. Like, they're angels. Of course, he's above them. You know what I'm saying? And even outside of that little theory that I have, like God's like idolatry, God's like social media or a person or, finances. He's above all of that. He reigns supreme and he's the king of all of it. And if we just keep our eyes on him, if we focus keep our focus on him, everything else will be added unto us. I keep talking about New Testament every time I see some of this stuff, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to stay in the Old Testament, but I just love the foreshadowing, man, especially with the hindsight that we have with the whole entire Bible. But
yeah,
that's good, babe.
Yeah,
that's good.
For chapter 96 and 97, actually, what I love is, first, the beginning of 96, how it reflected 95, where it's this, the beginning part is this, like, emphasis on God being worthy of praise. But what I feel like both of these chapters show is that, one, righteousness is God's standard, and how God is a God of righteousness and justice. And so in 96, it was the end of verse 13 where it says, he will judge the world in righteousness and the people in his faithfulness. Again, it reminded me that righteousness is his standard, and the laws that he's given us, the commands that he has for us, is all to make us righteous and to be in right standing with him. But then also in 97, it was the end of verse 2. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of his throne.
Yeah, we said that we said that yesterday too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just love that reminder from those two, pointing out those things.
It's good. Trying to see. Oh yeah, we talked about it. I think it was day 1 or day 2. Again, just the ways of describing these different attributes of the world being at God's command, right? I think about his lightning flashes out across the world. The earth sees and trembles. The mountain melts like wax before the Lord. Like, these are mighty things that will take days, like a mountain will take days to climb, right?
Yeah.
And yet in the presence of God, they're so humble. Because he's so mighty, he's so strong, he's so worthy. To your point about righteousness, that was the goal, and I think that's the part that I struggle with people who are still who are Jewish and don't believe in Jesus Christ as the Messiah. Even to Pharisees, where their understanding of, like, yes, Yahweh is our God, this, that, and the third, and everybody else, boom, boom, boom. Like, it was never to segregate God, right? It was to use the Israelites as an example for the entire world to see what righteousness looks like.
Yeah.
And I just, it's hard for me to just, like, believe that there's people out here that thinks that God is segregated. Like, his righteousness and the desire that he has for the Israelites and even for us is not for us. I mean, yes, it's to edify us. Yes, it's to make us better. But it's for others to see and be inspired and say, I want to live like that. I want to be blessed like that. I want to walk in that way. And yeah, I just think I just goes back to I forgot what I think it was Numbers, where God said, you are a holy priesthood. You are a nation of priests. You are a nation of holy people for the world to see.
Too. Yeah.
Yes, and Peter too. For the world to see, not just for you to be like, yeah, we holy. You know what I'm saying? We feeling good. No, it's for people to see. You know?
You. I was trying to figure out and understand what you meant by God being segregated. But essentially what you're saying is that like certain people groups, or even we saw with the Pharisees, like, are you alluding to people just trying to keep God for themselves?
Yeah, like people, the whole reason why Jesus came wasn't just for the Jews, it's for the Gentiles. We're all me and you, we're Gentiles, you know what I'm saying? And
I love that, yeah.
There's people who really believe that Gentiles aren't supposed to be like inheriting the kingdom of heaven.
Got you.
And it's weird because people read Job, who is not an Israelite, and they cling on to his teachings and his word.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
It frustrates me.
Yeah. But I think that just is why it's so important to read the Bible in totality and to know the gospel in its fullness, because there once was a time in the Bible, right, where it was just for the Jews. But then we get to see...
it wasn't just for the Jews, though.
Well, I'm saying this in this way. It was specifically for the Jews. And then how... I want to say... It could have been... I think it was Acts. It might have been Acts where we see it become something that was also for the Gentiles. And so... who was it that, and I'm really
you're talking about Cornelius?
Yes, I'm thinking about Cornelius, but I'm also thinking about who was it? Was it Peter that had this vision of like...
It was Peter and Cornelius.
Yeah, like this moment in time was history, because this is when it became accessible, and it could have been moments before then, but this was a prominent moment because the Bible was no longer, or salvation was no longer for Jews, but it was also for the Gentiles. And that's why some of the disciples had struggled at one time, or like even, I think it was Peter who needed to have that vision, was because like, I'm used to like, okay, I can't eat certain stuff, like all these different things. And this was a moment where this vision showed that like, okay, it's not just for the Jews. So,
and the thing that kills me about that too is like, after the Israelites, and we're going on a tangent, but after the Israelites left Egypt and crossed the Red Sea, after the 10 plagues, it's even said in the word, in Torah, that some of the people in Egypt followed them and grew accustomed to their ways and their practices. Yeah. So it's like anybody that has that mindset
are able to have access to him.
Yeah, but even just like, it's just weird that that's missed to me.
Yeah, it's just, it goes back to what we said. What was that? Was that yesterday, when it was like people take parts of what they want from the Bible and not the Bible in totality, and that's why it's important and also dangerous not to do.
Can't have no agendas besides just reading it, man.
Yeah,
that's good.
But
anything else you want to move forward?
Yeah, let's move forward. We are in Psalm 98. I'm always going to point this out.
Here we go.
As long as we're on here together. What verse 1 say?
I don't know. I don't see it.
Sing to the Lord a new song, for he has done marvelous things. Now, I'm always going to point out this whole new song thing. If you've been rocking with us the past couple of weeks, you already know that my husband is a musician. I am not great at singing, yet I sing a song to the Lord. Don't I be around here singing, baby?
Yeah.
I be having some good songs and some good bars. But because the vocals aren't quite there, he doesn't appreciate them. So
yes. There's a couple songs we was playing yesterday, and I was like, who's off? Who's off on the recording? Yeah. And I looked to my left, and it's my beautiful wife who's off.
Haters gonna hate.
The truth shall set you free.
Yeah.
Anything in 98?
Yes. I do love, because we just kind of was talking about this. I love that we just was having this conversation, because verse 2 and 3, it says, "The Lord has made his salvation known and revealed his righteousness to the nations." He has remembered his love and his faithfulness to Israel, and all the ends of the earth have seen the salvation of our God.
Thank the Lord that he remembers.
Yes.
Even in his anger.
Yes.
Think about Moses at Mount Sinai. He's about to smite him out. It's not Mount Sinai. It was Sinai, was it? Mount. Maybe it was Sinai. Lord, forgive me if it ain't.
Or Horeb, or one of them.
It was one of the mountains where they was up there for a while, and they was making a golden calf. And the Lord was like, I'm about to start over, and it's about to start with you, Moses. And Moses was like, remember what you said to Abraham.
Yeah.
Right? I love that.
Yes. And to your point, I love that even before Jesus have stepped on the scene, that they've already seen the Lord's salvation. Through how, he did bring them out of all these different things, and out of Egypt, and all these different things that we've already read about thus far in our series. But man, that was something that really stuck out to me, was the fact that even before the New Testament, God was still a God that saves. And that's beautiful to me.
Yep.
Well, Psalm 99. Come on, we in the 99th, about to be in the 100th Psalm. Emphasis on the I love how Psalm 99 pointed out God's holiness. You got 1, 2, 3 verses that says he is holy. You got in verse 3, verse 5, and then it ends with it. And so that was the beautiful part for me, was seeing the emphasis on the holiness of God, how set apart he is, right? And just how righteous he is.
Yeah. Definitely. I feel like these are quote unquote ending to these verses. It's like we're going to end with he's holy. And then we're going to come up with another topic to talk about. And then before we move to the next topic, he's holy.
Come on. I love that.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's good. He spoke to Israel, verse 7. He spoke to Israel from a pillar of a cloud. He followed the laws and decrees he gave them. O Lord, our God, you answered them. You are a forgiving God to them, but you punished them when they went wrong. Exalt the Lord, our God. Worship his holy mountain in Jerusalem, for our Lord, our God is holy. Bars.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, I love this, man. I feel like this is the one that when I was reading this, I just visualized it. I think about the way the Ark of the Covenant is built, especially in verse 1. They talk about his throne sits between the cherubim, and I don't know if you know what it looks like, right? Just seeing that, like his throne right in between in the Holy of Holies, like that's where he's at. Yeah, it's cool.
Come on. Yeah, and then we get to close out today in Psalm 100. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yep. Only 50 more Psalms left to go.
Only 50, that's crazy.
Right? But we get to close out here with a grateful praise is what my title says. And it really is that. Just this psalm of praise and worship to the Lord. And reminder that the Lord is God. I love verse 3, how it says, it is he who made us and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture. And then I feel like verse 4 is a call for what it looks like to not just worship, but to like even prayers that we can apply. Ways to pray is enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. As soon as you step foot in God's presence, your response should be praise, right? And thanksgiving, because he's worthy of it. And just how it ended in verse 5, for the Lord is good and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations. And don't we know that to be true? we're all generations, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have another generation I'm holding here in my hand, and she will know that the God that we serve is the one and only true and living God, right? But also that he's faithful and he's worthy of our praise. And so I just felt like Psalm 100, although short, it was so impactful.
Yep. Also, in hindsight, we have the veil is broken, the veil is ripped apart, which means, like in this context, it's talking about the temple. Enter his gates with thanksgiving, into his courts with praise. When we wake up, hey, church folk, the the gates of heaven isn't at the church building. It's when you wake up. It's when you start off your day. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Wake up every day, man, with that intention. It don't just, not just because you going to church and you feeling real good. No, it's when you wake up. It's when you walk in to work. It's when you're having a conversation with your wife. Have that mindset. Start off your day with that.
Yeah. And I did want to point out this verse 3 that says, know that the Lord is God. That word know really stuck out to me, that I had to define it. And it says, know is to have understanding of. So have understanding that the Lord is God, to recognize the nature of, to recognize that he is God, to discern, right? To discern that he is God, to be acquainted or familiar with.
To acknowledge. Mine says acknowledge that the Lord is God.
That's good. And then lastly, know means to have experience of. And I think that that experience part was the part that really stuck out to me, because
that's good.
We can often attest to like our testimonies and why we became believers of Christ was because of our experience with him. It wasn't until we had a moment or we had an encounter with him that we decided that he was going to be our God.
That's the only way you know.
Yeah.
Is by experience. You can't just be like, oh, I know because mama said she was, and when nah.
You know of, but you don't know for real.
Yeah. You don't have a knowing.
Yes. So.
That's good.
I love that.
Well, that is our reading for today. I hope you guys really enjoyed our time. Please, man, make sure you continue to read. We're almost done. What's this, day 3? We got 2 more days to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hopefully we'll see you tomorrow and continue this conversation in Psalms. You have made it to 100.
Whoop whoop.
Let's go.
Yes.
See y'all tomorrow.
See y'all.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for the VIBEZ Daily podcast. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, or download our favorite, the VIBEZ Church app. Visit vibes.church/devoted for additional episodes, notes, details, and the latest merch. Join us next time as we continue our journey through the Bible. Take good care.